More and more Americans began suffering from chronic diseases, from obesity, cancer, diabetes, kidney disease, Alzheimer's, heart disease, and all kinds of autoimmune diseases. And it's the government that approves the poisons in our food. A few people get very, very rich, and the toxins end up in every supermarket aisle.
Welcome back to Living Life Barefoot. Today we want to share some positive changes that we hope are coming to the food supply in our country.
So for those of you that have been following our channel for a while and watching our videos, you know that nutrient-dense, real whole foods is very important to us. And if you've watched our past videos, you know that we try to raise most of our food. So we have our sheep, our meat birds, our egg-laying chickens. We have a microgreens farm, we have our garden area, and what we can't grow or raise ourselves, we source it out from other local farmers. And we have also, over the years, have researched and learned how we can make healthier swaps for the food items that we do purchase from the stores.
So about 8 years ago, we started trying to raise some of our food ourselves, and we became more conscious about where our food was coming from, how it was raised, the chemicals that are sprayed on the foods. Through that, we discovered that the food system in the United States is broken.
So if you guys are keeping up with what's currently going on in the world today, they are bringing light to the corruption of our food system.
So while neither one of us are really interested in politics, about a year and a half ago, this guy popped out and was making tons of videos basically saying the same things that we've been saying and thinking for, many, many years. That there's chemicals in our food and all the stuff that farmers spray all over the crops. And a politician popped out making tons of videos, basically just confirming the same things that we've been saying. That politician is RFK Jr. So I was super excited. I've watched hundreds of hours of him talking about all of the government agencies that he's sued. And, he's been saying this stuff for, I didn't know that, 40 years he's been a lawyer, and he's been suing all these government agencies that have been corrupted by big food, big pharma. So while I don't think that government is probably going to be the answer to fix our problems, it is exciting to at least see a politician say that he's going to make it his life's mission to take all the chemicals out of our foods that in other countries are illegal.
Banned.
There's like 1,000 chemicals that are allowed to be put in food in the United States that are banned in other first world nations. So it's crazy. It's mind-blowing.
And also the farming practices in the big commercial ag, spraying all the glyphosate all over our foods. Yeah, and so in turn, all the soils are depleted. And so, even though you think you're doing really well by getting your fruits and vegetables from the grocery stores, unfortunately, the nutritional value in them is like completely gone to what it used to be.
Mm-hmm. One of the things Bobby Kennedy's been talking about is the reason that most Americans eat unhealthy food is because it's subsidized from the government, which makes those foods cheaper. So for many years, the foods that we cannot grow ourselves or buy from a local farmer, we try to get organic and things that don't have unnatural things sprayed on them, and it's really expensive, and that's by design. It is so most Americans won't make those purchases, and they'll buy the cheap, very unhealthy foods,
and in return are getting so severely sick. We are the sickest nation. We are sicker than we have ever been.
We're the richest nation on planet Earth, and we are the sickest by far.
And what is completely heartbreaking to me is that the children are getting sick at young ages and getting diagnosed with diabetes at such a young age. And it's completely heartbreaking. And so that is kind of another reason why we started our YouTube channel, is to try to get this information out there, try to encourage you guys to start looking into your food, where it comes from, growing it and raising it yourself. We share all of that on this channel. It's also another reason why I started my microgreens business. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about our microgreens business. We wanted to share with you this clip, so check this out.
Innocently put into their bodies these days, and most alarmingly, into the bodies of their children. And it's no coincidence that Americans die earlier than Canadians or Germans or Italians or Japanese or Koreans or Australians or most any other comparable country. And it wasn't always that way. Until the early 1990s, our life expectancy was the same or better than other developed countries. Then suddenly, more and more Americans began suffering from chronic diseases, from obesity, cancer, diabetes, kidney disease, Alzheimer's, heart disease, and all kinds of autoimmune diseases. Our maternal mortality rate soared to the highest of any developed country on earth. Same with infant mortality. Like the frog in the slowly boiling water, we didn't really notice as we got sicker and sicker. We've grown now to accept chronic disease conditions as normal. But now, in 2024, we're finally waking up to this cataclysm, and we're asking ourselves, how in the world did this happen? A big part of it is our diet. Restaurants that serve contaminated food are fined or shut down. But when it's the government that approves the poisons in our food, a few people get very, very rich, and the toxins end up in every supermarket aisle. Let me show you what I mean. Doritos, Cheez-Its, Cap'n Crunch, gummy bears. Everyone knows that these are junk foods, so maybe you wouldn't be too surprised to see that the ingredients include a lot of poisons, including a harmful yellow dye called tartrazine, or yellow dye number 5. What you may not know is that this dye was originally made out of the sludge that's left over when you turn coal into coke for blast furnaces. It's called coal tar, and I've actually sued many big industries for legacy contamination of coal tar all around the country because it's so toxic and it's so harmful to the environment and human beings. A century ago, it was just an obnoxious industrial byproduct that everybody was trying to figure out ways to get rid of. One of the ways that they did that was by paving roads. But then a British chemist figured out that the coal tar could be used to derive fabric dye. And if fabric dye, why not food? Food manufacturers began using it to cover up the discoloration of low-quality foods that they wanted to pass off on unsuspecting customers. They didn't know back then that this yellow dye, tartrazine, causes tumors, asthma, developmental delays, neurological damage, ADD, ADHD, hormone disruption, gene damage, anxiety, depression, intestinal injuries. Well, we know it now. We've known this for decades. That's why tartrazine is heavily restricted in other countries. In some countries, foods with tartrazine have a warning label that it may cause ADHD in children. Today, it's made from petroleum, not coal tar. Either way, it's crazy to add this to your kids' favorite foods. It doesn't even change the flavor. This yellow dye isn't just in junk food. It's in the foods that we consider healthy. It's in everyday kids' snacks like popcorn, mac and cheese, fruit snacks. It's in sports drinks like Gatorade and so-called vitamin water. It's even added to chicken broth, to corn, to pickles, to mustard, and to yogurt. And so, of course, our kids get sick. And we lovingly feed them chewable vitamins which have, surprise, tartrazine. And so the cycle continues until the coughs and asthma kick in, at which point you go to pick up some cough syrup. And yeah, you guessed it, tartrazine. I've been picking on tartrazine today, but that's just one of at least 100 chemical poisons that our health agencies allow into our children's food. I can make a video just like this to talk about Red 40, BHA, BHD, potassium bromate, chemical after chemical, and on and on and on. If just one of them can cause all of these problems, imagine what they're doing in combination. That's never been studied. If we took all of these chemicals out, our nation would get healthier immediately. We'd have fewer sick days. We'd have better focus. We'd have less anxiety. Our kids would learn more easily. We'd lose weight. We'd have more energy. We'd have fewer tumors and longer lives. It's not all dark. Over the past 16 years, the government has banned 8 chemical additives that cause cancer, genetic damage, asthma, and many of the other self-conditions as tartrazine does. And you know what's interesting? All 8 of those crucial steps forward in our kids' health were taken under President Trump. But the Democrats who claim to be all about health care have stood by watching other countries ban these poisons and make our kids sick, asthmatic, hyperactive, and depressed. They left them on every supermarket shelf in America. They even used your tax money to put them in your kids' school lunch. So their big food and their big ag donors probably gave them all that golden handshake and the big money hug. And their big pharma donors probably called them up and thanked them also, because now they're going to make billions selling Adderall, Prozac, and rescue inhalers. Enough is enough.
That is not normal. And if you're not up on what's going on and what's been going on, we hope that you continue to follow along our channel.
So, and while I'm very optimistic and excited that they can get something done and make some really big changes for our nation, if they don't make those changes and they get bought off like most politicians do eventually, we'll be sure to put that out on this channel too.
So our message today is don't leave it up to the government to make these changes. Take these changes in your own hands and start growing your own food. Start looking into your food labels. Start finding local farmers in your area. And you have to be the change. Like, you have to do it in your own home. We think that's where it begins, not waiting on someone else to change it.
And there is an opportunity for you to change it in your community as well. You could become a microgreens farmer like Mallory did and sell microgreens to your community. So that is a positive change that you can make, not for yourself, but for your community as well.
For sure. That's kind of how I got started and why I got started. There's not a whole lot of healthy options around, unfortunately. And microgreens were the answer for us. And it was something that I was able to do from home and be able to give my community a healthier option for their families and for their kids.
People often ask, how do you use microgreens? It's literally a substitute for the produce that you can buy at the grocery store that has been sprayed with everything. It's been sitting in a truck for weeks until it gets to you. It's just a substitute for the produce that you would buy from the grocery store.
Literally, we would put microgreens on every meal, and it just enhances the nutritional value in your meals. Up to 40 times more nutrient dense than what you would get out of growing the full-grown version. And I can't even imagine how to compare it to the produce that you're getting from the stores.
It's probably, it's not even on the same level.
So, we make these videos to just encourage you and motivate you to start looking into your food and taking it into your own hands. And we wanted to share with you about our microgreen grow kits. That's one way that we are helping change the food system today. And so we ship out microgreen grow kits all over the world. You can check them out at barefootmicrogreens.com and start growing your own food today, right from your own home, right in your kitchen counter. It only takes 10 days and you can have a superfood. You can feel good about the food that you're feeding your family.
And if you're the entrepreneur type, there's also, check out on the website, the Little Greens Big Dreams course book that she put out, and it's a very thorough guide on how to start your own microgreens business and start growing microgreens for your community.
Yeah, so if you'd like to take charge, kind of like we did, and help make the food system good again and give healthier options to your loved ones and to your community, it's definitely something I recommend. I want to show you what it looks like if you're unfamiliar with microgreens. This is broccoli, kale, cabbage, kohlrabi, and arugula.
What day is that?
This would be day 6, I think.
So there's 4 more days. So there'll be another inch to an inch and a half tall when she harvests them. There will be, what, a half a pound
Yeah.
out of that tray?
Yeah.
It's a lot.
And this is a whole food. This is a live food. Very nutrient dense. Has all the vitamins and minerals and antioxidants to help your body thrive. And you can add it to any of your meals. Our grow kits provide you with everything that you need to get started so you can start growing right away. The trays, the soil, the seeds, the knowledge, the know-how, the videos, the instructions, everything is right here in this little bag. And yeah, start growing food from your home. This is like the best entry point. So if you've never grown food for yourself, but you've been really, really interested in it, definitely recommend Growing Microgreens.
And they make such great Christmas gifts. So if you
Me
have someone in your family that's interested in growing their own food, it would make a great Christmas gift.
Yep, give the gift of health. No better gift than that. All right. Real food makes me happy, and it would make you happy too. It is so important. Your health is so important. We hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And if you haven't followed us for a while, go check out our other videos. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and like and share our videos with your friends and family. See you guys on the next one.
See ya.
If you enjoyed the content in today's video, please continue to keep watching and check out these videos now.